Greetings, YouTube. LMS Tactical here. I'm hiding in my dressing room because the dogs are wanting to play with me. Um, as expected, I get a lot of folks that want my take on what went down yesterday at the Capitol. My phone's giving me memory problems, so hopefully it doesn't cut out. I'll do the best I can. And remember, it's still fresh in my mind in terms of the emotions of everything, and not to be melodramatic, but my voice is gone. And as expected, like a lot of us, I'm pretty depressed about just the state of affairs in this country and around the world. So bear with me and know that anything I say is subject to change upon new information. So I'm going to start off just by telling you what I saw. And it's important to remember I had my wife and daughter with me, so I was super alert in terms of safety. If it was just me, I wouldn't be so concerned. Not that I'm a superhero, but I'm expendable. My wife and daughter are not. So my wife having let's see, it looks like it's going to stop recording. God damn it. Sorry about that if that offended you. um you know my wife having been in a communist country and struggled so hard to get to where we are now, where she is now, and seeing this happen, she's in like full blown depression right now. Like a lot of Americans, because communism's not just a concept. I'm out of breath. I was just playing with my dogs, like running laps and stuff. um so she insisted she wanted to be part of this. And it's funny because I'm going to jump around like I always do. I notice on Facebook and other platforms, the leftists are saying that we're terrorists and we should all be locked up. And, that doesn't scare the shit out of you. This is the state of affairs with the newer generation. They think exercising a constitutional right of just standing there and addressing your concerns and protesting legally per the Constitution, things that other countries they would love to be able to do. They think that's a criminal act in and of itself. This is how naive some of these fucking people are. And by the way, if my language offends you, get off the channel. You're wrong place. So we got down there nice and early. We walked our asses off to get to as close as we could. By then, there were already, I don't know, probably over 1 million people spread out. And we could barely see like a Jumbotron TV, and they had speakers so we could hear the president talk. Just like every other conservative rally, whether it was the Richmond, Virginia one that Bob and I went to for the Second Amendment thing, where everybody was armed, whether it was that or the Million MAGA March, the one that preceded this one, as polite as and fun as could be. I mean, people were, excuse me, sorry, how you doing, laughing, talking. No broken windows, no litter on the ground. Everybody was supporting the police and saying nice things to them. Thank you for protecting us, that kind of thing. And it was just a beautiful thing in terms of people exercising their freedom, whether or not, and this is what the younger generation can't get their heads around. You don't have to agree with what somebody's doing, but when they're doing it lawfully and peacefully, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, if Black Lives Matter was to have a 2 million person march and nothing got broken and burned, my God, I'd be like, hey, I don't agree with their politics, but what a great thing, man. I love to see freedom in action. But I'm old school. So everything was going well. And you saw I had my little cheap megaphone and I was having fun and shouting out my own thing. And then it got kind of weird. Now, I didn't realize how weird this was until I kind of put things together a little bit as after the things unfolded. It's kind of hard to explain. And a lot of you won't get it, not because you're stupid, but you have to have a sort of a military law enforcement mindset. If you do, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say my instincts told me something was weird. And maybe I'm wrong, but here, let me just preface it with this. On social media platforms like Clapper and in some cases TikTok, there's been intelligence coming for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, that Antifa was going to infiltrate dressed as MAGA, President Trump supporters, and try to raise hell and break windows and cause problems in front of the cameras to give the MAGA people a bad name. And there was good intelligence on that. I mean, we saw like printouts and tweets, and not tweets, but messages that people had intercepted and put out on social media. Maybe they were tweets. I don't know. But it seemed legit. I mean, that's standard, That's standard enemy operations 101, when you're dealing with political oppositions or whatever. So we all kind of expected it. And then we just drove on. And we went down there, and in spite of the Iranians had threatened to crash a plane into the Capitol yesterday, we still pushed on. I've always said some things are worth dying for, and unfortunately somebody did die for her beliefs. But here's where it got weird. I had just finished making an announcement about, this may be the last time we can ever assemble free and blah, blah, blah. You'll end up in a freaking Nazi camp or whatever I said. Now, you have to know ahead of time, and I don't expect a lot of you to know this, but the way the CIA works and intelligence agencies and certain military units, psychological operations is something that's used all over the world. We use it, they use it, everybody uses it on each other. But one of the things you want to do, you have professional agitators that basically are trained, and you look for somebody that's a strong leader type or has a loud mouth like me. And when you see my red face yelling, "Oh, we're going to lose our freedoms," or whatever I was saying, if you happen to be one of those guys, you'd be like, hey, we could use this guy to stir up the crowd, because that's what they look for. That being said, I was standing there, talking to my daughter or something. This guy pops up. And if you see this video and you're the dude and you're not any of these things, I humbly apologize. But you know what? If you have a brain in your fucking head, you'll know that I'm right in suspecting shit, all things considered. Right away, this dude gave me a weird vibe. I couldn't place it at the moment, but it was weird. He had this law enforcement military vibe coming off of him, and his looks, his demeanor, his everything. He didn't look like a regular Trump guy, and he didn't look like an Antifa guy. He just looked out of place. This energy that was coming off of him. And he leans into by my ear, and he says, "Hey, as soon as the president stops speaking, we're charging we're going to charge the Capitol." Or he said, charge or rush the Capitol. And he said, "Put that out over your megaphone, let people know." And then he just walked away. I turned around, and my wife's like, "What are you saying?" I told her, and I said, "Man, I'm not putting that shit out, man. I'll fucking end up being part of some fucking criminal act or so." I didn't, I was thinking, what the fuck's he talking about? Now, in my moment of weakness, a couple minutes later, I look through the crowd, and he's kind of looking at me. He's far away, and I thought, he's probably a brother patriot, and maybe he doesn't really mean like what I thought it said. So I turn on the, peer pressure. I turn on the mic, and I'm like, "Hey, just received some information that after the president's done talking, we're going to head toward the Capitol," which is exactly what the president said. So, nothing there. Heading toward the Capitol is a lot different than charging the Capitol. Now, unbeknownst to me, I guess that didn't sit well with him, because then I forgot all about it. And now I'm bent down 10 minutes later looking at my daughter's phone. She was trying to get a signal to get out, send a message to somebody. And, man, I'm out of breath, man. I've been running for the last hour. All of a sudden, I see a hand come in. And remember, there's a lot of people there, and we assume we're with brothers and sisters. And my megaphone's on my backpack, and the finger points and says, "Hey, can I borrow that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I turn up, and it's the dude, same dude. And he's got these little letters on his jacket. He's got a leather jacket. And he's got little letters that say something like MIC, MFIC. Now, I would have known what it meant if it said HMFIC, because that's head motherfucker in charge, but I didn't put it together. It was all part of this weird vibe that was coming off him, but I caught it, didn't think much of it. But I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And I thought he's just going to stand there and make an announcement. Well, he just takes my fucking megaphone and just kind of walks off into the crowd. And I look around, people are looking at me that are close, and I said, "Well, I guess he fucking stole my megaphone." Somebody's like, "Oh no, he'll bring it back." Not that I gave a fuck. I mean, it's like $23. So then I go back to, and then this lady comes up to me, and she goes, "Hey, what do the letters on that guy's jacket mean?" And I go, "Did that guy seem a little weird to you?" And she goes, "I'm just wondering what those letters mean." And I said, "Oh, I'm not sure." I swear, man, like 10 minutes go by, maybe 15, but at least 10. And the dude comes back, hands me the megaphone, goes, "Thank you." And I go, "Hey, what do the letters on your jacket mean?" And he looks at me, man, and he goes, "Motherfucker in charge." And then he walked away. But there was more to this dude. Just trust me, more to this guy than what you saw. And I'm never wrong with my instincts. That being said, I hate when people say that. That's why I say it. That being said, so forth and so on, etc., etc. So I gather up the flock. I'm like, hey guys, you know what? If everybody's going to head to the Capitol, there's going to be a fucking million people. Let's get out of here. So we still have like a mile and a half to walk, and it just so happens we got to walk right to the Capitol because we have to go to the Capitol to get to Union Station where we were going to get on our fucking subway. So we're heading down there, well ahead of everybody. The president's still talking. And it's just a meander, you know, just kind of walking along. I got lots of video of that shit. And because we're law-abiding people, we come to the Capitol, and there's a statue with like these gates that say "Do not cross" or something. And we stop right there. So it's nice and safe. We're there. We're taking a break because what we're trying to figure out, I have a terrible sense of direction. We're trying to figure out, is Union Station on the far side of the Capitol, to the left of the Capitol, or to the right? We know it's not behind us. And so my daughter's looking it up on Google Maps, and you know, we're exhausted. My wife and I aren't spring chickens. And, you know, I feel like I got hit by a fucking train. We're tired. And all of a sudden, you know, people start some sirens roll. At first we think it's the president's motorcade. I even say, hey, the president's going to the Capitol. You see it on the video I have. But now crowds are kind of not running, but they're just walking toward the Capitol steps, and they're passing us because we're not going that far. And a couple of them are starting to yell, "Whose house? Our house. Whose house?" And I'm like, whoa, you could feel the vibe picking up, you know? And then some other crazy guy, I didn't get it on video, but this one white guy, he's like, man, this ain't no game, you know, this is our fucking house. And he's like really hardcore. And I'm like, it's getting weird. And then this black guy was yelling through the megaphone that we're going to take the house. It's our house. And I, you know, I was like, hey, so how long do you guys want to stay here? You know, and I'm getting ready to pull the plug on this. And now there's a commotion. I can't see detail because they're up the steps, and then there's more steps, but we see a commotion going on. And somebody says, hey man, they're actually storming the fucking Capitol. And I zoom up on my phone, and I can see them like crawling up the walls like fucking zombie apocalypse, you know. And I look up on the roof, and there's a bunch of cops up there, and they're kind of heading that way up above. I told my wife, I said, I'll bet you they're going to drop flashbangs or tear gas on these fuckers, man. And, you know, my wife said, I said, what do you guys want to do? And she goes, let's go. Time to go. So we start skirting around left of the barrier, and all of a sudden, you know, 3 or 4 flashbangs. Boom, 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 boom. Exactly what I had thought was going to happen. And by that time, little did we know somebody was, you know, getting killed, and they were in the Capitol and all this other shit. But, you know, we're heading home. By the time I'm heading south on 95, there's units, federal units, and all kinds of law enforcement heading north, you know, so I knew shit was melting down in D.C., and that's pretty much what happened. So now I get home, and I'm up till 3:30 in the morning looking at all this shit and I see this young lady that, the Air Force veteran that got killed. I can't remember her name now. It's right at the tip of my tongue. I'm so sorry. I can't remember it. God dang it, I can't remember. Ashley or something. I think it's Ashley. So Maddox or something like that. So she, you know, I saw the video. You know, somebody sent me the video where she got shot in the neck by a black officer. You can see his face, and his hand comes out, and he aims, and he shoots her in the throat. And tactical nightmare, there were uniformed cops right behind her. Total crossfire. Lots of people to shoot, but she was kind of standing. If you haven't seen it, they're in the building. There's a bunch of cops around them with M4 rifles. And there's all this commotion going on. And there's a smashed out window that goes into a hallway. And she had kind of stepped up to go through the window. And a door opens, and a guy comes, officer, I assume, shoots. Yeah, you could see he was an officer. And shoots her in the neck. She lands on the ground. I'm okay, I'm good. And then she dies, choking on her own blood. Probably hit the jugular vein. So people are like, well, you know, if they're not Antifa, what was she doing in there? And here's my answer to that. And I don't know this to be true. This is just me speculating based on life experience. The purpose of agitating and hiring actors like the guy with the horns, that guy's been identified from Backstreet or not Backstreet. What the fuck is it? Backstage or something. Hang on a second. Hey, I'm making a video. Hang on a second. I can't stop the video. What's going on? Oh. I'm making a video. What's happening?
The dog?
Okay, hold on a second. I got a problem here. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is not typical, you know. What can I say? Maddie. What? Okay, so I'm so sorry. The dogs are out there fighting or something. Good God, what a video. I apologize, but that's life in my house, guys. I had to go out there and zap her. So, how did she get in there? Agitators are looking. They're looking for a. They're looking to lead the rest of the people into a situation and motivate them. So you've got some people that were identified clearly as Antifa through tattoos and pictures of them doing Antifa shit. BLM, and then this guy that's a paid actor with the horns. You see him at different rallies. So if you stir up people and you dress up with patriot shit and you're holding Trump flags and you push into a building, it's not unusual. It's fully expected for people that are caught up in the moment and the hype that think their brothers and sisters are doing something to go in with you. That's what I think happened. That's why I think she went in there. There are other videos that I have that people have sent me where guys are smashing windows with hammers, and the Trump crowd, you're not going to see this on the news, they're yelling, "Hey, that's Antifa, that's Antifa." Some Trump dude fucking grabs this guy with a hammer and takes him down. People were realizing that, out of the hundreds of thousands or millions of people there, you had a few Antifa people, and those were the ones that, don't you find it strange that they get into the Capitol and they're just so easily able to sit at Nancy fucking Pelosi's desk and have pictures and sit at the speaker's chair and take pictures, and that's okay, and the only one that gets shot is an unarmed fucking white chick? You're telling me that there was no help on the inside or none of this was orchestrated? I'll go to my grave believing it was orchestrated. 99.9% of the Trump people don't do shit. And by the way, if that lady would have been a black person who was flipping over police cars and unarmed and got shot by a white cop, the whole fucking country would be in flames. But she's expendable, and if you look at all the social media, she got what she deserved. Fuck these heartless motherfuckers. So, Mike, what are you going to do about it if it stops, my memory just ran out. So what are you going to do about it? You know what? I'm having a family meeting. We're all over the country scattered. We're going to have a discussion, and we're going to figure out as far as, how we're going to process this whole thing. What can you do about it? I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I used this analogy. If you're standing outside and it's pouring rain, and the people on the news are telling you it's not raining, and the government says it's not raining, and Hollywood says it's not raining, and all your family says it's not raining, and your friends swear it's not raining, but you're standing under the rain fucking cloud. Is it raining? Of course it's raining, but what are you going to do about it? You're living in a world where people just refuse to see reality for whatever reason, whether it's by nefarious design or ignorance. If you're on an island with 100 people, and 5 of them want to have law and order and 95 want to run chaotic, you're going to have a chaotic island. So we may just have to learn to adapt. People, you're throwing in the towel, Mike. As I stand here now with very little sleep, I haven't sorted out how I'm going to deal with it. But you know what? Things change, and I mean, you have to know the reality of what you're capable of. I'm looking to live as peaceful of a life as I can, and until I drop dead of a fucking heart attack or the CIA fucking kills me because they put something on my fucking megaphone. How do I know they didn't bug it? I don't know. I don't take anything for granted anymore. Anything's possible. But in the meantime, just, if you believe in God, have faith in God. We're not the first society to melt down through treachery because of treachery. Everybody that was on Trump's team abandoned ship, including Pence, it looks like. So you can only do so much, and hopefully God has a bigger plan. Don't commit suicide and freak out and get depressed like my wife. She's all depressed and everything about this. I got to go boost her up. And right now I'm going to focus on my dogs and have a good time and try to just focus on the good things in life. I am not watching the news. And the day that Biden gets inaugurated, I'll take down all my flags like I did during the Obama years. And I will never fly an American flag that I'm not in a country I'm not proud of. And the election was stolen from us. Even a fucking first day law student would know that. We're going to be owned by China, and the Democrats have stolen an election, and they're going to own the country. But what happens next? We'll have to see. In 6 months, this country won't be anything like it was yesterday. I mean, I anticipate major lockdowns with this fake virus. You saw me not wearing a mask. That's the second fucking rally I've been to sucking in air. There's no goddamn coronavirus running around any different than there is a flu. Same type of shit. But people want to buy into it, and they want to fucking pretend like, the government's telling you the truth. The government's using you. And you know what? Fuck it, man. All I can say is watch fucking old movies and try and enjoy your time together with your family. Let's see what happens. If the country decides to go to war, I'll deal with that. If they decide to capitulate, then, I'll turn in my mother and my wife and one of my kids, point them out as being Trump supporters, and I'll swear allegiance to Biden, and maybe I'll get an extra cup of rice every fucking month, for being a good motherfucker, for the people. All right? So, comrades, that's it for me. I wish I had better news. Maybe next time, though. You guys stay safe. LMS Tactical. I'm out.